What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you guys so much. It's been great reading all your comments, hearing from you, hearing what you have to say, the encouragement. So thank you guys so much for that. I know it's been a little bit since I made a video last, but I wanted to bring something good to you guys. And as soon as I have an idea, I want to be able to speak it into a video. So guys, today we're going to be talking about something that we don't really talk about a whole lot on this channel. I think it's something very important to remember. When I started thinking about this, it was something that kind of hit me over the head because of how I am. Now guys, as men, sometimes, well, oftentimes, we can become very big-headed. We can be very visionary in our outlooks in life, right? We tend to look at everything as, it can be done, it's possible. We tend to almost live in this dream world, in this fantasy land, right? And I know a lot of us like to think, oh, I'm logical, I think of all the facts. If it makes sense, I'll do it. But, a lot of guys talk, right? Guys are good at talking because talking makes it seem like we're doing something, right? There's this idea, maybe the subconscious thing, that if we talk about it, we'll bring it into fruition, but it takes action, right? And I think one thing we need to remember as men is to get to baseline first. Guys, you got to get to baseline before you start running off after these crazy ideas. You have to map out what it is that you want to achieve. Oftentimes, I'm speaking for myself here, guys. How many times I've thought about doing something, right? And I can become very obsessed. I look into something and I want to make sure that it's, perfect. It's got to be perfect from A to Z. And I started thinking about it. And I really was not as detailed as I thought I was, right? Because I would have this idea, I would have this picture of the future, the end goal of the end state where I wanted to be. And I thought, oh, I'll get there. Because I see the end, right? And I would come up with a plan. Really, my plan was like a half-assed sort of, yeah, I think this will work. It sounds good enough. But my biggest weakness as a man, as someone who plans and does things, is to be strategic, to map it out, to navigate it, right? To be the navigator. I've been reading this book by John Maxwell. It's a great book called The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. Amazing book if you guys haven't read it. All of these chapters have been sticking to me. Each of the 21 chapters is a different thing. And I just got reading this, and it kind of hit me over the head like a bag of bricks because it's something I know I've been needing to do. And how many times, guys, we approach something in life, we want the money, right? And so we're like, yeah, I'm gonna get rich. And then we try something. We have this idea and we try it and we think, oh yeah, this is it. And then we don't stick with it, right? We don't plan it. We don't actually sit down, write down the numbers and do something about it. We don't plan. We just have this idea, this fantasy land idea. And if we don't get rich quick overnight, if we don't get it, if we don't have instant success, fame, or fortune, then we just give up. But how many people, guys, do you see? How many stories? It's almost innumerable. The people who do get overnight success, fortune, fame, whatever it is, it doesn't last long, right? Its roots don't go very deep. There's really nothing substantial there. It's like a flash pan. People start out one way and then it fizzles out. And that's what we do in our life. Like, it doesn't matter where you are in life. Like, if somebody handed you $1 million right now, would you know what to do with it? Genuinely, would you know what to do with it? Because I've heard stories of people who, they get $1 million in inheritance, they win a small lottery, and they get money, and they go out and buy like all these cars, they go out and buy a house, and all of a sudden the money's gone. How many people go, you know what, if I won $1 million, I would invest it into things that would give me about a 10 to 20% return, and in a few years I could live off of the residuals, right? Barring you don't have any crazy debts that you're going to pay off first, because debt is terrible. And that's something that we need to actually do as men, guys. We need to pay off our debts. We need to get to baseline so that we can springboard into this. Because my biggest failure, right? One of my biggest failures in life, I can look back and honestly reflect. And there's always something to learn from everything, failures or successes. But to be real with you, one of my biggest failures in life was not being honest in the moment, right? And having these dreams, having these ideas, having these, big ideas, and not doing something about it in the moment, not sitting down and doing the math, right? It came back to haunt me years later. Like, here I am, right? I made all these bad decisions. I made all these bad choices. And I had these ideas in my head, and I would do them and I would go at them, right? Like, I was in sales. I've talked about this in my other videos. I was in sales for a while, making a lot of money, making more money than most 6-year-olds at the time would be making, right? I was one of the top salesmen at my company. I was good. But I didn't know what to do with the money. I was blowing it. I was blowing it impulsively. I thought I had all the money in the world. I wasn't being wise with it. I was just spending it because I felt like I wanted to spend it. I would get these big commission checks and I would just blow it. And I always thought one day, I would just get more money and it would all balance out. That's not how life works, guys. Life is funny. Some people, it does, sure. But those people always end up in a much bigger mess than they started out in, right? They might get all the external things, but then they always somehow end up in bigger debt, in a worse spot in the end than at the beginning, or they become sellouts. They sell their souls. They're doing everything they can just to, be treading above water. And you can even look at your own life and see that, guys. I can look at my life and see that in many ways. How many times I was like treading water because I was a sellout. I sold out to my emotions and my feelings. All these plans, right? In my younger 20s, I had all these ideas and visions of what I wanted to do and where I wanted to be. And then I gave into my emotions. I gave into my pleasure. I gave into impulsiveness. And there was something that happened. It was a slow thing, guys. It wasn't overnight. I didn't lose everything overnight, but it was a slow giving in, right? Knowing I was making these choices, knowing I was getting myself in debt, but just going, I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna make it big. And the truth is, guys, sometimes you gotta take risk. Sometimes you gotta put yourself out there. You gotta go where no one else has gone. But you gotta be calculated about it. You can't just take a leap, right? Taking a leap of faith is one thing. Sometimes you gotta take a leap of faith in life when faith is all you have. But oftentimes we have the ability to actually sit down, and a man who can control his emotions is stronger than a man who can take cities, right? A man who can't control his emotions is like a kingdom without walls that's broken into, right? Like, there's no order. There's only chaos. There's only destruction. There's only insanity, right? So get to baseline, guys. There's nothing wrong. Like, if you're in debt, if you are out of shape, if you are not healthy, get to baseline. Do what you can do right now. Make the most of the day that is in front of you. Do what you can with what you have, with what you know. Learn. Ask for help if you don't know. Guys, I'm always willing to help you guys out. I even put my email in my channel description. If you guys reach out with a video idea, or you just need some help, you just want to talk, let me know, guys, because I'm here for you, because I've been there. I know what that feels like to just be totally lost. I'm not going to give you, and I can't give you every answer that you might need, but I can at least steer you in the right direction. And I think that's what life is all about. Oftentimes we want to have everything, right, all at once. But we have to have the knowledge. We have to have the ability, right? Like, if you're in debt right now, I'm going to go through a couple of things with you. If you're in debt right now, right, What are you doing to get out of the current debt that you're in? You can dream about being a millionaire all day long. You can dream about having money. A lot of people are dreaming about having money. They don't even have a job. A lot of people are dreaming about having these things. They don't have money, right? I'm not saying you should be obsessed with money, but if you are in a deficit, if you are in debt right now, you need to get out of that debt, right? The only thing I would say is, if you're in like crazy medical debt because it's something that's out of your control, that might be a little bit different. You should still try to get rid of that debt. But I'm talking like consumer debt, guys, cars, credit cards, even homes. People are like, oh, a mortgage is normal. Guys, just because prices have gone up through the roof doesn't mean it's normal. Like, how many times do people buy a house and they're like, oh, I'm just going to be paying a mortgage forever, so I'm going to include that in my, daily finances, and I'm going to start spending money on all this other stuff I don't need. Guys, if people just paid off their houses, like, first of all, that's a lot of extra money you could have. You could even move somewhere else. You could turn that house you were in into a rental property, right? There's so many things you can do. People don't think about money like holding them back. We've all fallen into the system of debt, working to live, right? I'm not saying that everybody out there has to be a millionaire and rich and rolling in dough, but I'm saying that you can get to a point where you're at least baseline, where you don't have debts looming over your head. Sure, you're always going to have a water bill, electricity bill, car insurance to pay, but things that we think are normal, like credit card payments, car payments, like we need to be getting rid of those things as soon as possible, right? Because then we have all this ability. You guys don't realize a lot of times these debts, these things that are over your head, it's because like they're there. They keep you locked in place from doing things, right? Like the way I look at money, right? The more that I think about money is it's a ticket, right? It's a ticket to do things. That's really what it is. Money's not like inherently anything by itself. It's just a ticket to do things, to buy access, to go places, to do things, right? And two things in life that people are always trying to get: time and money. You can't get time back, but you can get more money. And more money means you can have the ability to do more with your time. So if you're in debt and you're always worrying about things, one, it's not good to worry, right? Two, the Bible says plenty of times, stop being in debt. Stop being in debt to people. Don't let anybody on this earth be your master if you can't help it, right? Like, be free, There's a very common theme throughout Scripture. Be free. Be slaves of Christ, right? Carry your cross. But his burden is light. And paradoxically, it frees you. It gives you a peace that surpasses all understanding. But get out from under all that, guys, so you can have freedom, because you don't realize, what if something bad happens tomorrow? I'm not saying worry about this, but I'm just keeping it real. What if something bad happens tomorrow, right? You don't realize, if you can't pay these credit cards, if you can't pay these bills, these payments, if you can't pay them for so long, they go to collections, it destroys your credit, it hurts your future buying and borrowing power. It affects you. It can affect you for 7 to 10 years, guys, maybe longer, right? You really can't pay them. You can go to jail over collections, right? All this crazy stuff people don't think about, because it's all about today. Like, don't worry about tomorrow. Just live for today. There's so much more to life. You can have more freedom today, right? Like, I've been debt-free, guys, and I've had debt. And I'm telling you, debt-free is the way to live, because you can do so much with it. You're not worried about, oh, I can't go out with this girl that I really want to go out with because I got to make this car payment. I got to pay off these credit cards, right? Like, oh, I got this thing I need to fix on my car. Oh, you're always thinking about money, and then you're thinking about a family too. You're like, well, I can't really have a family because I'm in debt. And even though I could have a family, we would be barely scraping by. I always worried about money. And if I couldn't pay, I wouldn't be a responsible husband. And my family might be in jeopardy. And I couldn't provide for them. Terrible place to be in, guys. Health, right? I'm a huge fitness and health guy. I'm not the healthiest guy. I do like my fair share of junk food, I'm not gonna lie. But I also like to stay fit, right? I like to work out almost every day, do something active every single day. You guys don't realize until you've been doing it for a long time. Everything real and true takes time. You can take shortcuts to get, you can take drugs to get big and jacked, to look big and jacked, right? You can lie and deceive and steal to get more money, right? You can do all these things, but it's not true. And for me, fitness has always been a big thing. A lot of you guys look at people who have good fitness, and this is why social media can be so damaging, because you're not realizing what you're looking at. A lot of it's just an act, it's a play. A lot of these people are are not natural. I'm just gonna put it that way, guys. But there are a lot of people who are too. And you look at those people and go, oh my gosh, like they look great. I want to be like them. Got to realize God's made everybody different. Genetics play a big part of it. I don't care what anybody says, they do. And two, a lot of these people have been doing it as a lifestyle, guys. Maybe you've never touched a weight. Maybe you used to be in shape. Maybe you fell out of shape. Maybe you're fat. Maybe you're not where you want to be. It's going to take some time, guys, but do what you can today. Stop thinking of you got to be at this super ultra elite level, and start thinking, first, I got to get to baseline. I got to get to normal. I got to get to healthy. I got to be debt free. Like this, guys, you can apply this to anything. You can apply this to anything, right? Like maybe you're super antisocial, or maybe you become antisocial and you don't know how to talk to people. Guys, I'm telling you, instead of thinking you got to go up and talk in front of a crowd of 10,000 people and try to sway them, maybe that's your dream. Maybe that's something you want to do. You got to start somewhere. Maybe you just want to talk to people. You want to get out there and be more fearless, right? You got to do the little things, like talking to the people at the grocery store, talk to the people who work at a grocery store, talk to people who work at a gas station, talk to the people you run into. If you guys have a similar interest where you're ordering food somewhere, some people aren't going to want to talk to you. I get it. People are weird these days. You can blame it on COVID, blame it on the phones. I don't care. People are just weird. They're high strung. I get it. Some people aren't going to want to talk to you. Cool, whatever. Keep it pushing. But a lot of people are actually cool. They're down to earth. They want to just have a conversation. And a lot of those people might have not had a conversation, so they appear a little awkward, right? Like, you got to have compassion, right? Compassion for where you are. And you got to have compassion for where other people are. So guys, I want you to keep that in mind, right? Like, and getting to baseline, this also, I'm gonna end the video with this, guys. This is a full circle video because I want to make you guys well equipped. I want you to go out. I want you to do the Lord's work. I want you to live the best life that God has for you, because I believe that every person has a best version of themselves, and that best version is building the kingdom of God on earth. Get rid of the things in your life that are holding you back. Cut them out. Cut them out right now. I'm telling you, you guys know what they are, right? Everybody's going to be different to different degrees. But I'm telling you, cut them out if you know they're holding you back, right? Everybody has convictions about things. If you smoke cigarettes, smoke weed, if you drink too much, right? All these things, people can say, oh yeah, in moderation. Guys, I'm telling you, if you're doing it on a semi-regular basis, you don't even realize oftentimes your body chemistry is hooked to a pattern, right? We're creatures of habit. We do things, and oftentimes, like, you got to be real with yourself. When's the last time you haven't done something in a routine, right? In the New Testament, it talks about how, like, all things are permissible for me, but not all things are profitable, right? Like, I can do all things, but I will be mastered by nothing. So we really got to check that. We really got to check that where it is. And that's for everybody to decide. But there are certain things in life, guys, I do believe that are just straight up harmful for you. Things like pornography. They're not going to give you anything in life. There's no gain from it. There's nothing to be gained. There's nothing, right? Things like, going out with the wrong people at the wrong places, staying up till early hours of the morning. What is that really doing for you? Yeah, you might make some memories, make some stories, but in the end, it's just, there's really nothing there. Right? You're going to mess up your sleep schedule. You're going to mess up your body. I'm sorry to be a party pooper, guys. I can say this because I used to do all this, right? And in some ways, I do still struggle with it. Because sometimes you think back to your old life and you go, man, like, I feel like I'm missing out, because there was a high from it. But you realize after amount of time and the conviction of the Holy Spirit, and once you see the truth, and Jesus opens your eyes to the way, the truth, and the life, if those things aren't compatible with Him, there's really no point to do those things, right? There are certain things that are just obviously harmful, hard drugs, right? Being in dangerous areas with dangerous people. Things that people are always chasing a high. They're always chasing a rush. So what are you going to be chasing, guys? It's okay to chase being normal. It's okay to chase being a baseline. And then from baseline, you can springboard into where you want to be. You can springboard into that vision. So get stable, do what you got to do, right? Start taking the little steps now. And I promise you guys, you're going to get to where you want to go. And that's going to bring you much further than just waking up and thinking, if I just had more money, if I just had bigger muscles, if I just did this. Quick fixes and shortcuts don't do it, guys. I've been there, I've done that. So guys, if you need anything, if you need any help, let me know in the comments below. Really enjoy hearing from you guys, and Lord willing, I will see y'all in the next one.